Stay tuned for an all-night Dragon Deck here on the regular television.
Be normal! Be normal! We have a Dracula in the house.
A Dracula? You mean a vampire, surely?
No, just come and see. See? It's a Dracula.
Oh my God, Vincent! I'm so sorry, sir. My friend here, he's old and weird and a ghost. I'm Be Normal, and you are?
Well, this is awkward because my name, it kinda is, well, Dracula.
Told you so.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, well, Dracula is kinda like a nickname. My full name is actually Bram Stoker Dracula. Or, well, more precisely, Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Well, you could even say I am Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula 1992 in parentheses.
I don't like him. I like Christopher's Dracula.
Shh, Vincent! I think I've heard of this fella.
Might even mention something about American zoetrope in there, come to think of it.
You ever just want to sit back and watch some classic monsters? Because, why not? Monsters rock after all. But then, the first question is, which monster do you pick to watch? When it comes to the classics, you're pretty much spoiled for choice. Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, Invisible Man. But today, I am in a particularly spooky mood, so we are going for Count Dracula. Bringing us to question number 2. Which Dracula would be the best for us to visit today? Well, the answer is easy considering the title of the video.
The children of the night. What sweet music, Dagmar.
Vampires do exist. This one we fight, this one we face. Has the strength of 20 or more people. But he can also control the meaner things of life. The bat, the rodent, the wolf. He can appear as mist, as vapor, as fog, and vanish at will. Now, all these things Dracula can do, but he is not free. He must rest in the sacred earth of his homeland to gain his evil power.
So 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Either you get it and your life is all the richer for allowing it into your heart, or you don't get it and you are a boring person who just doesn't, get art and culture.
I have offended you with my ignorance, Count. Forgive me.
This is also one of the few Dracula movies that I literally think should become mandatory study in film school. And maybe the original 1931 version too, but then only when accompanied by the Spanish version for side-by-side analysis.
¡Detente! No moverás tu mano hasta que yo lo quiera.
Now, I do get the criticisms, honestly I do, but I am sorry, singling out Keanu for his bad accent just isn't fair.
Yes, of course, sir.
Because, guess what? Everybody in Bram Stoker's Dracula has a funny accent.
Lush vineyards, flowers of such frailty and beauty.
She lives beyond the grace of God, a wanderer in the outer darkness. She's vampire, Nosferatu.
I doubted everything. Even my mind. I was impotent with fear.
You have a funny accent, you have a funny accent, you have a funny accent.
I know.
Now, something you can criticize is Keanu Reeves' old man gray hair.
What the hell?
Yeah, this happens about 2/3 through the movie. And I mean geez, that is old school and lazy. Especially when, on the other hand, you will see some of the best makeup people have done. Period. But now, let me just list some reasons why this Dracula movie is amazing.
That's so Dracula. Tonight on AB Flea.
Not only is this one of the most accurate Dracula movies ever, it also uses some of the historical Dracula mythos.
From Transylvania arose a Romanian knight of the Sacred Order of the Dragon, known as Dracula.
Accurate? Coppola made up like half of his subplots. Empathetic Dracula, my ghostly ass.
And this accurateness is not just with plot and characters, but also with the epistolary method of storytelling.
Epistolary, adjective, of a literal work in the form of letters.
Wait. Were you just talking down to my viewers? Do you think they don't know what epistolary means?
I'm sorry, Father.
Just get out of here, you!
I'm going. I'm leaving.
The nerve of some PNG robots talking down to such intelligent and attractive viewers and subscribers as we have here. Anyway.
Suck up. Tell me about it.
Just in case you needed a practical example of epistolary storytelling, Dracula, the novel, 1897, isn't a regular book. Instead of regular text and paragraphs, you have stuff like characters' letters and diary entries. Think of it kinda like a found footage movie in book form. And in the Coppola movie, we see the use of diary entries and newspapers and letters to move the timeline and the story along.
Left Budapest early this morning. The impression I had was that we were leaving the West and entering the East.
Diary, 30th of May, 1897.
R.M. Renfield, successful solicitor in the firm of Hawkins and Tompkins, respected member of the Lord Nugent's Wyndham Club, returns from business abroad in Transylvania.
Up next, ambience on point.
Every set, every prop, every outfit heightens the experience of the movie. You know, there are very few costumes throughout all of Dracula media that people find as memorable as, the Lugosi look. But I mean, honestly, isn't this the other contender?
Well, if it isn't little... boy.
I hope myself, well...
Renfield, I don't care.
And I mean, who could even argue we have Old Man Dracula with his luxurious silken robes, plus young warrior Prince Dracula with his fleshy, muscly bat armor, all the way down to Monster Man Dracula crying blood and being surrounded by dripping candles and darkness. And that's just the Draculas. We have only the most appropriate period piece clothing for the rest of the cast, most notably some lovely protective head cages and straitjackets over at the asylum. But of course, I would be remiss if I did not spotlight the absolutely memorable and macabre white gown that the vampire Lucy dons in her scenes. Yeah, I don't think it's a spoiler that Lucy becomes a vampire. And these memorable pieces are, of course, the brainchild of Japanese artist and designer Aiko Ishioka.
He hired me as a costume designer, but he's feeling like Aiko create entirely visual concept. I want to express hybrid culture, which is East meet West.
And while we are talking visuals, just look how awesome these sets are. And no, not just the fancy Victorian ones and the creepy asylum, but here. Look at Dracula's castle. It is literally an old man sitting in a chair, crumbling and falling apart. Plus, he's being held up by girders and support beams. The scenery itself informs us that Dracula must leave Transylvania and go to England, for his old ways are dying, and his power and influence is merely crumbling away.
Number 3 is a monster.
So, people seem to kind of forget that Dracula isn't like just, some vampire. He's Dracula. A creature of the night, essentially powered by evil Satan magic. A hecka powerful necromancer, sorcerer and animal whisperer supreme, yo. And with Gary Oldman's portrayal, you get just that.
I've tried to play him as rather like Raphael, like a fallen angel, so that there's always that good and bad paralleling one another.
Not only because of his actions and his intentions, but also, like I mentioned, amazing makeup. Plus, this Dracula has some pretty gnarly monstrous shape-shifting abilities, ranging from Wolfman to Batman to pile of rats in a trench coat.
Wait, what?
And let us not forget all the weird and kooky powers he has, including transforming into mist, hypnosis, and the ever-popular shadowmancy. As for the actors, the standouts are of course Gary Oldman as Dracula in all his forms. Yes, that and that and that is all Gary Oldman. But Anthony Hopkins as a slightly overstimulated and almost deranged Van Helsing is also pretty fun.
Yeah, she was in great pain. Then we cut off her head and drove a stake through her heart and burned it, and then she found peace.
Doctor!
Working at night, I go home and I look at the script, I stare at the page, I go over and over, and suddenly these ideas come. And I said to my, next day we started rehearsing, I said, I'd like to dance with her. He said, why? I said, I don't know, I'd just like to take her and I'd smell her face because I know she's been with Dracula.
Plus, all of Lucy's suitors are just amazingly delightful characters. Oh, and right. Did I mention Tom Waits is in it?
Would you care for an old Dr. Third or canapé?
No, thank you, Mr. Renfield.
Yes, a moment of unabashed bias. I will always enjoy me some Tom Waits, and his portrayal of Renfield, Dracula's brainwashed servant, is memorable as
You see, each life that I ingest gives back life to me.
And yes, everyone can come across a little hammy. But seeing as Dracula was famously shown as a play after the novel, you might as well have fun with that. Oh, but be normal, I hear you cry. What of the visual effects? Well, all of them are great, and all of them are impressively practical. Like, literally, every single shot was pretty much practical.
They're going back to an old school of filmmaking. Old school in the sense of that, Terminator 2 is all computer graphics, and this is like, ropes and mirrors and, that kind of hocus pocus, which is delightful.
In conclusion, Dracula's fucking cool.
So now I am asking you with tears, bloody tears in my eyes, friends, how could I not love every single aspect of 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula? It is gothic and romantic and spooky and grimly beautiful and brutal with themes of love, eternal devotion, sacrilegious vows of eternal darkness, and it's just really cool. So if you are into vampires and dark spooky things, it is definitely for you. If you are into practical effects and monsters, then this is definitely for you. If you are into classically styled period piece movies, then this is for you.
Hey, be normal?
Yes, Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula in parentheses 1992. What is it?
This is all a bit much. The compliments. I'm feeling rather uncomfortable. I'd like to leave now, please. Please?
Who'd have thought there would be a time that your personality kinda paid off? Hey, be normal.